And so it wasn't until 2013 so they were just getting stockings in 2012. And then 2013, I was like, I really love this idea of how do we build that pen palship? And so the first year it was just them receiving cards. So from like donors and so the schools in Tokyo. And then the next year, we had them, hey, why don't we do a card workshop before the event so the kids could say thank you to sponsors in schools and things. And so every year it's kind of evolved a little bit more. And then in 2014 or 15 when the Nepal earthquake happened?
Yes.
Then we had a group of children there that we did a workshop and we had them write cards to children in Nepal. And we actually were able to raise funds to send stockings over to there.
Yeah, great. And you think Erwin having that connection already to international schools, did that help you reach out to other international schools around Japan, or was that just a coincidence that you had a connection with so many schools around Japan?
Well, Angela's the one that had the connections with the schools in Tokyo and in that area.
These were families of the children that I used to teach. So these were my students. But then also the fact that my parents had an international school, just so it helped everything make sense to them. Right. And so I think that was really valuable in terms of choosing when they were like, where should we support and where should we go? And so the principal of Nishimachi International School came up and helped us sort boxes. And then he came up and was our Santa the first year. I think he was our Santa for about 6 years. And so they were there from day one, always supporting. And then their families would come up for field trips. Like 2013, 2014, we had a lot of field trips where the families of these schools would come up and see and hear the stories. And then, of course, experience the beautiful nature that is Minami Sanriku.
Wonderful. And it looks like maybe through Project Tomodachi, you had petty officers greeting people. Is that from the next year, 2013? I've got a picture from your video.
So unofficially, they were there in 2011 because it was mothers of the petty officers that baked cakes and came down. But then it was from 2012 that we were like, hey, can we actually get like the official representation so that, at this point, like the mayor was coming to the event, and we did need to also show the stakeholders. This is something I was learning. I needed to show the stakeholders and some of these like PR photos in order to really engage our donors who weren't able to visit. And so that really helped to get everybody up there. And also it really helped in terms of continuing, like strengthening those relationships, making sure they felt grateful. And till this day, the Misawa military interaction through the Santa Soul Train is, I think, the only place where you still have American military personnel actively involved in local communities, this was originally an initiative by Ambassador Ruse, and it was a military initiative for emergency support. So I'm really quite proud and really grateful for that relationship because it's something local people mention a lot. They're very happy when the volunteers come from all sorts of places.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Erwin.
And I was just going to say that as the military personnel is transferred or moved away, they pass the connection and everything to somebody else. So that core was never broken. It was always a continuity, keeping going, and that was very nice to see people just wanting to. Okay, this is what I want to share with you. I want to pass it on to you. You take over. And so it's kind of like, that's what happened. Many people came once or twice or whatever. So we are still here, but we would not be here if it wasn't for everybody else that was there at one time or another. So we crossed paths. And I think that's very important. Even just one moment together it makes part of everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. It really takes a village, right?
Yeah, exactly.